gonna start our own club. I even got the perfect name for it. We're gonna call this club The Bomb. Well, I don't want to be here when the bomb goes off. You ain't this with me, bro. No, here we go.
Welcome back to Kenan Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Adam.
And I am Aaron.
Thank you for joining us for this, another new episode of Kenan Kel.
Brand new, just came out.
Yeah, because it's August of October 1996.
Exactly.
This is the 5th episode of the show already.
Number 5.
And what's the name?
Da Bomb.
Yep, no, that you did not hear incorrectly. It's not The Bomb or
DUH Bomb.
Yes, probably the most 96 titled episode.
It might be the most 96 episode period.
Yes, it's this is not one I revisit often.
Come on, I enjoyed it. It was great.
It's not my top recommended episodes to people, but it's a fun time.
Well, we'll get into it and we can talk about what we like about it and what we don't like about it, and I can tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, well, first you've got an intro for us, correct?
I do. I would love to share that with you in my human voice.
Yes.
People, even on their best days, strive for human connection. After the beginning of 2020 and global quarantine protocols, it's no question that we're social beings. Now, as we record this, businesses are beginning to open up, but with strict social distancing rules in effect. I want you to now think of the least social distance location in our modern society. Think of a bunch of people in a small room, in close contact, sweating on each other, maybe even sharing drinks, and perhaps even sharing other forms of affection. It's a safe bet that nightclubs will be forever changed after spring 2020. For decades, nightclubs have been the place for promiscuous young people to spend their weekends. They're places to unwind, to have a few drinks, to dance with your friends. You get to meet people and have a good time that nobody really remembers. But most nightclubs have age restrictions. You have to be able to drink before you can dance. This has frustrated millions of young people, leading to the generation of fake IDs. But Kenan Rockmore doesn't follow the status quo. Fake IDs just don't cut it. A better approach, in fact, a more responsible approach, would be to open your own nightclub in a borrowed location. This way, nobody could put a restriction on the fun you could have with your friends.
Very good. If I was tasked to do, not that, but like a Dan Carlin intro, like you've done in the past, we've talked about like the atom bomb. The history of bomb warfare.
The history. Darn it! I missed my opportunity there.
It's fine. No, thank you for teeing us off. So
no problem. Let's get started.
on Nick to Nick. Yes. So Coolio brings us into the Kenan and Kel wearing, I think, their most 90s outfits so far.
So go quick. Let's go back to Coolio. In the past week, I watched the hot ones, which with Coolio, which is they're eating hot wings, and Coolio's on it. Of course, apparently he's still relevant. Coolio says he's like one of the top top 1 million lovers in the world, which I just think is hysterical. And so I went back.
Were people polled?
I know, he just says it. It's just something he says. And then I watched some of his performances, and I watched him performing, the theme song to Kenan and Kel at a small venue, and it is the least hype thing I have ever seen. It's so upsetting. There's 2 people in the audience who know what it is.
That sounds real sad.
It was pretty sad, but Coolio, he's still doing good. He has lots of money. That's what it was, a Gangster's Paradise or whatever, that song made him millions.
That's great.
Anyways, let's get back to this opening scene.
Yep. So in front of the big red curtain, Kenan and Kel emerge, and Kenan. I want to talk about his outfit real quick here.
It's a good outfit.
Because I can only describe it as like a velvety orange and maroon like bowling shirt.
Well, yeah, it's like, velvety. It's like fuzzy. Yeah, so it has red sleeves and then a red collar, and then like that thing that has the buttons on it, that's red, and then the rest is orange.
It's real weird, and it's like open too. He's got like he can have a whole outfit, a regular outfit without that.
And the t-shirt he's wearing, it's a black t-shirt, and it looks like I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a Hey Arnold character, like doing the scream, like the famous painting.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
I feel like it's some kind of like casual, like pretty mainstream '90s band or something like that.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'd see that. I don't know it too well.
He almost blends into the background though.
Yeah, he's
like a floating head.
Yeah, and Kel is wearing overalls with above like pink and black flannel and matching hats.
Wow, I think it looks like red, white, and blue from my my maybe your DVD. The color scheme's a little off.
Yeah, I noticed a couple clips of this one too, or like kind of ended early. Like it seemed to cut to commercial really abruptly.
Yeah, I can see that.
But so yeah, maybe my recording's not awesome. But anyway, yes, they introduce each other and say, and they argue about the introduction.
Yes, because Kel says it's not all that entertaining.
With Kenan so how about you entertain the audience more? To which Kel does.
So Kel cues stage right. I think it's the way to say it. He cues stage right, and a jacket, a black sequenced jacket, floats over to him, and he grabs it, and then he gets a fedora, and he puts the fedora on in place of the hat that he's wearing.
He always has to have a hat.
Always has to. And then he starts dancing.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, I think I read this online, so you have to correct me if I'm wrong here.
It has to be right.
I think he's doing Michael Jackson.
I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm almost, especially towards the end of it, he does like the high knee, leg circle kick thing.
It's irrefutably Michael Jackson.
And yeah, it's very much Kel Mitchell's attempt at Michael Jackson. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
The best part about it, I think, is when Kenan runs off and he does his usual yelling after him, and then after all here it goes, he moonwalks away.
I didn't notice. Oh, that's great.
It's real good.
What's funny is right before that he said, "Kenan, my legs hurt. I got cramps." Oh, here it goes. And that's good. Moonwalking. I love it.
So this is something that I haven't mentioned in any other episodes. I want to get your take on it. Is the curtain intro real? When I was a kid and I watched this, I would see Kel runs behind the scenes and gets changed into another outfit.
I mean I don't think so.
Yeah, there's usually a cut shortly after, and I think later on they start opening it up, and then to Kel already out on there.
I think it's a green screen. But
they have a green screen just for that little tiny moment.
But I don't know because the audience is there, so you would think that they wouldn't set up the audience in front of just a green screen for this filming, unless it's that fake of a show. No,
there's always usually a zoom into it, so maybe it's a small green screen. They opened up the sheets too, and but either way, it's pretty. It always looks. I always like it. You really feel the veil is being opened up, and you are literally watching the sitcom with a bunch of studio audience friends.
Yeah. No, I mean it might be. Maybe they have different different curtains for different sets, but I don't know how it works. We'll have to when we get somebody on to interview them, we'll have to ask them how it works, because I'm determined to do that.
Intro Rigby's. What do they start off doing?
So I mean, it's a very, very classic moment. It had It's had to have been done, dozens of times over. But Kenan is fixing a light bulb on a step stool that is very unsturdy. It looks like it was actually just made in the back room with like some pieces of 2x4. And he asks Kel's help in fixing the light bulb. Yeah, Kel comes in and Kenan recruits his help because Kenan says, I'm not doing that. I'm not standing on that stool. It's unsturdy.
So yeah, Kel gives it a shot. Kenan gets a phone call and Kel goes off on his own
to fix the light bulb. Yes. And so you know what's going to happen. This Kel's already getting wobbly on the stool. Kenan's back is to Kel. He has the phone. He's standing at the counter and you just see Kel in the background. Just dangling and then
going crazy, dangling.
Yeah, and so then of course he kicks the stool out from under him, and he is like hanging on to the light bulb, and just dangling ferociously.
It's pretty funny. I think this might be the best like visual bit of the episode.
I think so.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because I've seen this before or I just can read the writing, but I knew it's coming. Just the way everything's set up, it's coming.
Do you think that's really Kel or is it a stunt double?
That has to be a stunt double. And I think what they did, I think they threw the person back and forth because the wobbling is just out of control.
Yeah, it's never established what kind of light this is. If it's like dangling on its own or it's like fixed in the ceiling. It's not supposed to. When it cuts back to Kel, though, it's pretty clearly Kel from what I can tell. In like the second half of it.
I mean, that's not really that far of a jump. I don't know.
It's not a crazy stunt.
No,
or anything like that.
What I like is when Kenan sees Kel and Kel starts to twist on his own, and he's like spinning off of the light, and then Kenan grabs his legs and spins him so they can fix the light. It's clever. It's really nice.
Do they fall down with a light bulb?
No, I think they were screwing the light bulb in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how I saw it.
You'd think there'd be like a little more light afterwards.
Yeah.
Like they'd indicate that in some way.
Well, there's definitely not a light above that spot on the set.
The light is not affected whatsoever.
Yeah, I like how they fall down though, and they just end up on the floor. That's nice. That's fun.
And Chris comes in and says what everyone's thinking.
So that's how many dingbats it takes to screw in a light bulb. Dingbat.
Yeah. So some customers come into Rigby's that are friends of Kenan. At least one of them is.
Acquaintances.
Yeah.
Greg, and then a woman.
Did he say Greg?
I'm pretty sure.
It was hard to hear for me. I wrote down Brad.
Either way, doesn't make much. Doesn't make a big impact on the plot.
But yeah, they're talking about a cool club that they're going to this weekend.
Yeah, really cool.
Called Outrage. And
good writing.
Yes, they wanted to go, but Brad Gregg discusses their ages to them, see if they're 21, which they admit that they are, in fact, 15 years old.
So yeah,
confirms our theory.
Proved our suspicions. I like what the woman says to them when they're about to leave. He said, "It's like, no, you can't go, but maybe you can go ride bikes or something."
Yeah, it's a good pause. Maybe you can go ride bikes or something.
Yeah.
They leave, and Kel says, I think my favorite line of the episode.
Man, I can't believe she said that. Yeah, we're not allowed to ride our bikes tonight.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good lines this episode. I wrote a lot of them down, so hopefully we can... How I can sway your opinion on the episode from these clever lines that were said all throughout the episode.
Sure, I'll happily like this episode more. I did want to ask something about Kenan's relationship with his friend, this guy that comes in. What's how? Like, what are they? How are they friends?
I'm thinking school. I'm thinking some kind.
But he's clearly like 21.
Well, they might be 18. I don't know what the rules were in '96, but
so you mentioned this in your intro. Do you think there's like a lost subplot about fake IDs, or like that was kind of trimmed from the episode, that element.
No, I just think this was more fun than like getting fake IDs and actually breaking the law.
Yeah, actually, that is funny because what Kel suggests is probably what would usually happen in a sitcom like this. He's like, because he says you're not gonna trick me into going to that club. Kenan's got a great idea because he's like, no, we're not going to that club. We're gonna make our own.
Yeah, that's almost the distinguishing feature of the show. It's like Kenan thinks outside of the box. Mm-hmm. He's like a really smart and adventurous CEO, right? Except he isn't smart, and and his adventures are ill-advised.
Yeah, of all his plans thus far, without the kind of the law ramifications that we eventually encounter, this one's not bad. The worst part about it is tricking Chris, the owner of Rigby's.
Yeah, I mean, and they're just serving orange soda. It's not like they're serving alcohol.
Yeah, no, it's a very clean event. Everyone seems to be having a good time.
They're just having fun. We'll get to there. We'll get there though.
Yes. What does Kenan propose the name of the episode? Name of the episode and the bar?
Da Bomb.
Da Bomb.
Really quick though, before we go to the next scene, I want to. Kel's walking out of the store, and he says one of my favorite lines. He says, "I don't want to hear your ideas. Ideas scare me." It's like this is where we're getting to the in their relationship, right? Like Kel doesn't want a fun idea or a challenging idea. They're too scary. Anyways,
I think it's definitely more thought out than the psychic plan from last episode. But yeah, it's here's something I want to keep tabs on throughout the episode. They're talking about the price of the event and stuff like that, and how we're going to afford that. And I think it's Kenan recommends they charge admission. So
makes sense.
As I've been crunching the numbers, we'll revisit that.
I can't wait.
But yeah, I thought it was an effective intro at Rigby's again. We've mentioned this before, how long these scenes are.
Yeah, they're meaty.
It goes on for a bit, and a lot of stuff happens. So yeah, it's good.
Good stuff. Good start.
Back at the Rockmores.
So Kenan and Kel come in, and Mr. and Mrs. Rockmore are playing a video game.
Yeah. It was eventually called a Pinko game, which might be like the Nintendo brand.
Oh man,
something like that. I didn't recognize the joysticks that they were using, but
no, they were pretty old school though.
Yeah, it's like not as old as Atari, but there's like a little more gamepad to it.
Yeah,
and they clearly had two very different play styles. Mrs. Rockmore had a lot more movements.
Yes,
and Mr. Rockmore,
yes.
I don't know why he was doing it, but yeah.
I don't know how Mr. Rockmore didn't break the joystick. Like, he doesn't seem very graceful with this technology. I feel like he would easily overpower it and just crack it.
Yeah, just with his like giant wrestler hands or whatever.
His hands are massive.
Break it in two. But yeah, Kel kind of gives him advice about the game. Just that. What does he say?
He says, well, first he says go into hyperdrive, and then he switches what he says to eat the energy pea pod.
Yeah.
Eat the energy pea pod.
Which is, it's good. I wish he had said just more random assorted. This is a good time for like one of those comedy lists like the Hemingway episode had. But no, yeah. he really gets on that pea pod that Mr. Rockmore refuses to eat.
Probably out of spite.
Yeah, right.
But he sticks with the pea pod. He says it about 5 times. And then eventually, of course, Mr. Rockmore loses to Mrs. Rockmore.
Yep, and they immediately go upstairs.
Yep, good night. We're going to bed.
That's a pretty cool thing for parents in the 90s to do, right?
I think so. Yeah.
We wouldn't catch our parents fighting each other in a video game.
Yeah, and then just going right to bed when you get home.
Yeah, no, they're more of a movie watching type, which is it's a big spectrum I've just noticed between this and the last couple episodes, because they're watching like Casablanca one night.
Yo, yeah. They're playing board games.
Yeah,
they're playing video games. They're very active at night.
A lot of stuff in the Rockmore household. I'll keep a running tab to see.
You know what's funny? I mean, we don't see a TV in this scene, so like the set doesn't include a TV. So they were just sitting when they filmed it. They were just sitting there with joysticks, and Kel was yelling, "Eat the energy pea pot" at nothing.
Yeah,
he was just pointing to like the audience.
It goes into like that whole stage play thing, you know.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good stuff.
It's fun. You have to use your imagination a little bit when you're watching it as the audience is doing, which it's a very introductory. Good stuff. So they start talking about their plans for the bomb, and they're overheard by Kyra.
Yes, but before that, I just want to point out Kenan has a bunch of flyers printed on colored paper with a bomb on it. And the flyers say "da bomb," and they're like orange, red, yellow, green flyers.
I didn't think about that until you mentioned it, but
it's so funny.
Yeah,
It doesn't even look like there's any information on it.
I'm not surprised that law enforcement got involved.
We'll get there. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, no, okay.
And then, you're right. Kyra is right behind the couch, and she is paying attention.
Now, they discuss it a little bit with her. They have a conversation with her, and some like contradictory information is revealed that Kyra is 9 years old.
Yes.
In the pilot episode, there was a scene where it was established that she was 6 years old.
Oh.
I just looked it up recently. I believe the actress Vanessa Baden, I believe, born in 1985, so she'd be like 11 by this period.
Oh, wow.
At potentially 10. So 9's a better fit than 6, but she instantly looks younger than the pilots. Those couple, like, usually pilots are filmed far in advance. And we noted how young the cast looked. But yeah, no, she's 9.
9 fits. I'm okay with 9. A 6, no.
No.
Too big of a gap. 9-year gap. That doesn't really doesn't work for me. I like 9 though.
There is some good development of this of Kyra as a character as best as she can be said.
Yes.
Kenan does what he does in the pilot episode where he kind of says, "Don't tell mom and dad. Kel, make her promise not to tell mom and dad."
Right.
Kel asked her, and she's enchanted, but then she adds, they're like, "Okay, Kel, as long as I can come." So she's catching on that, like, it's not working twice on her.
No, and this whole scene, she's being very like almost flirtatious with Kel. Like, she sits right next to him. She like gets really close to him. She's clearly has a crush.
Yes, it's very apparent, and it's covered throughout the episode. So yes.
Yeah, and so at one point, Kyra is trying to run upstairs, and Kenan grabs her, and he says, "Are you looking forward to 10?" And she says, "You're squeezing my liver." And that is such a Nickelodeon sentence, like Nickelodeon interaction.
Yeah, I put liver right next to Puffy in terms of this.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm just thinking about like Drake and Josh years, and how many strange body parts that they like. Ow, my spleen! It's like how many
spleen came to mind for me. I was about to say,
yeah, how many weird organs can they label?
Yeah. So that's about it for the scene, right?
I think that's it.
They agree to let Kyra come to the bomb. Back at Rigby's,
a woman. An elderly woman has a cucumber in hand, and she asks how much it is.
89 cents.
And so she pulls out pennies, and she starts to pay for it in pennies. And she's counting the pennies. She gets up to 6, then she goes to 8, and then she starts all over. She puts all the pennies back in her purse and starts over. So just a little humor. This is one of the things I like about the episode is all these little moments. They're starting to emerge. These little moments of humor that doesn't take up the whole scene, but it's just funny.
Yeah,
It's
in the same
lighthearted.
way that every time we go back to the Rockmores, they're doing some other family activity.
Yep.
Every time in Rigby's, stuff like this happens. And as someone that worked retail at a dollar store, this does happen. I like it. Some people were sneaky with it. They were buying like 5 things, and then it was no one else in the store. They were looking around, and then like once I told them, they like pulled out a big jar of like change.
Hey, that's smart.
Yeah.
You know how much change? I collect my change, and at the end of like the year, I go and count it. It's like $40 usually.
Yeah, it's a full couple meals there.
Oh yeah, a week of groceries.
Kel comes back with sore feet, claiming that he has put up 500 to 600 flyers, which is crazy. That's like
That's a lot of flyers.
and the ratio of people that actually arrive to the number of flyers is
About 30.
yeah.
Yeah, 30 and so it's a good interaction, and then Kel goes over, sits on the counter, and takes off his shoes. And and his of course his feet smell bad. So Kenan says, "Oh, it smells like you hung up 5,000 to 6,000." Which it's not that funny, but I mean it's nice. I keep saying it's
Sure.
nice.
I see the jokes.
Yeah.
They're singles, not like home runs.
Oh, you're so right. A couple doubles here and there, but yeah.
Yes. Leanne comes in. A pretty girl of towards their age. And
Yeah, definitely not, 23 or anything like that. The actress seems much older.
I did not look into it. But
It's okay.
Yes, and she is immediately attracted to Kel. Like just
For some reason.
yeah, some reason the weird 15-year-old with his feet on the counter of the grocery store has
Yeah.
her full attention.
So she asks, can one of you tell me where I can find the orange soda?
Yep, and she and Kel have a battle back and forth of declaring their love for orange soda.
You like orange soda? Oh, I love orange soda.
Yes. Some back and forth. She says something that in 96 wasn't any big deal, but in modern ears, I wonder if you caught this. She says,
Oh, yeah.
I just broke up with my boyfriend, so I'm just real thirsty.
Yeah, yeah, we don't have to go into that, but definitely. And then definitely an interesting development here in Nickelodeon.
No, yeah, she's real thirsty for that Kel attention. So Kel rushes to get her orange soda, 2 whole liters of the stuff.
Absolutely.
And she wants to study the lumps on his head because she's into phrenology.
Yeah.
Did you have anything in your expertise, anything about phrenology?
Phrenology, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that it was pretty popular in like I'm pretty sure 17 and 1800s. Just because, of course, you didn't know what was.
It's like the weirder cousin of palm reading, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually there was more science behind it than just palm reading, but yeah, it's not like medically recognized as effective at all.
Yeah. So like it'd be the same thing if you like told her his sign or what have you.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably more merit to astrology than phrenology, honestly. But I don't want to bash it too much. Like, if it works, it works. But
Sure. As Kel declares, my lumps are your lumps. So, this is a fun scene because they go back and forth.
that
Yeah.
made me laugh so much. Like, that was my favorite line of the
I really
episode.
like Kenan's follow up to this because she's reading it and she says, "You're very, very." Oh, it feels like you're very, very smart. And Kenan says,
You better feel again.
yeah. And then she's like, it also feels like you're lonely. And Kenan, good follow up. He's real lonely in that head.
It's really good. Really, really good. Yeah, that was a good development.
Kel gives her the bottles of orange soda free of charge.
And the basket.
Yep.
She walks out with the basket.
She walks out and she's. That almost feels like an ad lib. You can keep the basket.
Yeah. Like the actress like just walked out with the basket, didn't even think about it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Kel nervously asked her to hand out flyers, but Kenan says, "No, you should just come here." So it's cool how this is like the opposite of the Hemingway episode, as in like, yeah, sometimes Kenan wingmans for Kel.
Right.
Besides, like, the other way around.
It's a nice like brotherly support, or like best friends got each other's back.
Things are still pretty equal. It's like they're both kind of stupid.
They're not super selfish. Yeah.
They have a lot of the same traits at this stage.
Absolutely. So, then Kenan grabs Kel, puts his arm around his shoulder, and is telling him that everything's going to be okay because he has Chris wrapped around his finger.
To which Chris pops up behind him and says... and surprises him. Yeah. Nothing memorable.
No, nothing too funny.
Not a good Chris episode.
No, I was gonna say his lines in this episode are pretty weak. Like he didn't read the script. The people writing the script didn't put much thought into it because there's other plots going on.
I feel like this is a different writer. I'm about to check it right now to like the past couple. Yeah, Linda Yearwood is behind this one, and I'm curious how many other episodes she did.
Okay.
No other ones are popping out, so this might be like a
wow.
one-off.
Yeah, she does not like Chris. Chris is just seen as like the annoying store owner instead of this comical, goofy like lunatic. Yeah,
he can be better than this,
and he is.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this scene. We cut to commercial, right?
Yes.
All right. I also I really like the first scene after commercial because, like you said, it's a little what do you call it? A little vignette about grocery store stuff.
Yeah, what is it?
So it returns, and there's two kids with water guns shooting each other.
Right.
Little tiny a water pistol is smaller than their hand.
Oh, totally.
Water guns. Kenan asks them very nicely to stop. They go up to the counter, throw down some candy, and they're like, "How much for this candy?" And then they surprise Kenan by spraying him. Kenan's not surprised. He pulls out a much larger water gun, quotes Scarface, and chases them out the store.
Oh, yes. Yes, I loved that. When he pulled it out, I was like, this is just good television.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic. I could have seen it coming, but that was at least a double.
Honestly, when he reached down for the big water gun, I thought he was going to pull out the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, that's been Chris's move lately.
Yes, the fire extinguishing people out of
I guess water gun. If it was an adult that was doing it, you might be able to fire extinguish them. Fire extinguishing a kid's a weird thing.
Yeah, it seems against the rules. For the Nickelodeon rules, the very strict rules.
They rush him out. But they leave. So what happens next?
So Kel comes in at the same time the kids are coming out, and Kenan is making sure that Kel's getting everything set up for the party and for the club. For some reason, throughout the whole episode, Kel is in charge of doing all the work, while Kenan is just scheming. Like Kel is putting the flyers up. Kel is getting all the materials. He's getting the DJs. He's getting everything together, and Kenan is just kind of hanging out, enjoying,
basking in it.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know better, I'd say that he's being pretty smart. If this is against the law, he's fully detaching himself from it.
Yeah, and I mean, from a business standpoint, this is actually what an entrepreneur does, right? The real definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who gets other people to do things for them.
Yeah, you have an idea, and then you convince everyone that they should help you with it.
You hire the right people. Yes. I do want to make one comment. And this is pretty specific to I don't know about our personal lives, but Kenan is wearing a shirt, with green stripes, brown stripes, blue stripes, and red stripes, and that looks a lot like the robe that you have. That looks that you wear on Holy Week to look like Moses.
I've been wearing it a lot of times when I've been working from home. I wore it today. Yeah, they are those colors, and it's from Dad, so
Same time
the same
period.
era.
Yeah, no, it looks like Kenan has like a thrift store style hand me down type.
Although it was
look.
not thrift store at the time.
No, but now it is. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they don't make stuff like that anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, agreed.
But after that, they need to get Chris out of the store.
So they change his clock in the back room as well as his wristwatch.
Yeah, and he's taking a nap at this time.
Yes, which is weird, right? We talked about Chris's bed back there before. What's he doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's an adult. Can't he work regular, like an 8-hour day?
He definitely makes his own hours. Also, why is the only other person that works for him a 15-year-old?
Yeah, it's just the two of them.
It's just a weird... I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why he's sleeping. But anyways, it was convenient that he was sleeping so they could change the times on the clock and the watch.
Although it does explain a lot of the nonsense they get away with in the front of the store. If Chris, half the day, he just spends sleeping in the back.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kenan gets close to Chris as he's changing his watch, and then Chris grabs his head and says, "He's I love you, Teddy."
Kenan Kel shout at the same time for Chris's attention, waking him up and letting him know that's late. So Chris rushes out the door to do a couple things with and for his mother. Is this the first mention of Chris's mother?
I think so. Yeah.
It definitely a recurring gag on his part.
Yeah, so he clearly is the caretaker of his mother. And, what he says to Kenan Kel is, if mother calls, I'm on the way. Tell her I'm on the way.
Specifically, he says, tell her I picked up her teeth.
Yes.
So, that's my first Chris's mother's fact. Teeth are out.
Maybe Chris is losing sleep because he has to take care of his mother.
Oh, wow, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Serious plot development. It's kind of hidden, but there it is.
We'll have to explore that more. So Kenan heads back to pick up Kyra as Kel sets up. Back at the Rockmore house, Kenan's parents are leaving for dinner with some neighbors, or family friends at least. Did you catch their name?
No.
And it was right over a laugh track. So, but I thought I heard that Mr. Rockmore calls them the Schneiders.
Ah.
The Schneiders don't like it when we're late, which I think is a Easter egg for Dan Schneider, the creator of the show.
And many shows.
Yes. His mom also tells him that there's a turkey in the oven. Which is first of all...
Oh, that isn't addressed. Because...
No.
Yeah, as the scene progresses, right, Kyra comes down in a robe, but she actually has on a dress underneath, and she sprays on perfume, and anyways, the scene ends and they leave to go to Da Bomb, and the turkey is still in the oven.
Yes.
So, that's not good.
I mean, it could be the oven's turned off, it's just sitting there. We've had meals like that. But a whole turkey is something else.
Benefit of the doubt, I suppose. A whole turkey, maybe it's a turkey breast, but she did say there's a turkey in the oven.
The turkey's in the oven.
It doesn't seem safe. Kenan just got home.
The chipmunk has pneumonia. And the turkey's in the oven. Maybe that's
Something's
code
going
for something.
on here. Yeah, maybe. We should keep track of these sayings.
Yeah, but they pay it no mind, so we'll get into it. But the episode ends pretty abruptly. And I thought that'd be a good point of escalation, surely.
I thought so. But really quick, so Kenan looks at Kyra and says she's wearing a dress. And Kenan says, "This isn't a Halloween party." And then Kyra cleverly says, "Well, then why are you wearing that ugly mask?" And that was like a triple. That was like a very good, like, nice job. Like, this is a 9-year-old, like, coming at her older brother. It was really, really nice. Clever.
Yeah, I've got some more stuff to say about Kyra in a few here. But yeah, it's her dress does look very Halloween-y. It's kind of pink and black, and
Yeah.
you could see that this is like the by her 9-year-old mind, the best dress that she has, and she probably wore it for Halloween.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, they get back to Rigby's, and the bomb has gone off.
There are pink and silver streamers hanging all around the store. All of the middle, what do you call them? Like shelving units are moved to the side. You don't see them anymore. And there's DJs setting up at the counter who look like construction workers, but they're DJs.
That was just a village people thing they were doing. No, but yeah, they have 2 DJs.
Yeah, that's also interesting.
So I as we learned soon that, and like you said, about 30 people show up to this, and through context, they're charging $3 per admission. So, $90, maybe be generous, call it $100. I see that for the poster, the streamers, the flyers, the balloons,
the snacks.
But the DJs aren't really accounted for in that.
No, they are definitely the most expensive piece.
I looked up modern rates.
It's a lot.
Yeah. DJ for I saw it was like a 4 to 6 hour event. Something, a party of this caliber would, I think they were listed at like $200 or something like that as a starting price.
Definitely.
So yeah, 2 of them for this whole night party, that's like $130 back then at that rate. Probably higher, probably lower. Well, either way, they're definitely in the red for this.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe
event.
they're like Kel's friends, right? Like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, the turkey was done cooking. Maybe they know them. Maybe they got a deal. Yeah. So we don't really know. But
and later on, we find out that they're not the best DJs. They've got some bad equipment.
They definitely, yes, they're definitely not professionals.
So yeah,
although they have matching outfits.
That'd be some. They do, right? Maybe it is really close to Halloween, and like everyone's just kind of in the spirit.
It's possible.
It's like an early October party, but yeah, they say that Kel's in. Kenan says, "Kel, great job," and then the DJs kind of rat him, and they say he's been blowing up that same balloon for half an hour.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the floor is filled with balloons. And Kel has been working on one for 30 minutes.
Again, they don't seem like discount DJs because they set everything up while Kel was working on one balloon.
Yeah, but what DJ does that anyways?
I have no idea.
Maybe a little lazy writing there, Lisa or whatever her name was.
There's another first recurring line here.
What's that?
Kel lets the balloon go, it flies everywhere, and he shouts, "Why?"
Oh, yes.
That becomes more of Kenan's catchphrase, but it's our first.
That's true.
Shouting "why" of the episode.
Well, Kenan replies to that. I think it's really funny. He says, "It's okay. It had a happy life." Which, yeah,
that's
like
fun.
Nice job.
So I thought up to this point, it's been a pretty all around good to average episode. It's just this last kind of third isn't great. By my book, this is where it kind of goes downhill.
Yeah, they try to accomplish a lot. The interactions, as we'll see, aren't that crisp. It's kind of whenever you have, I think when you're doing a sitcom, whenever you have a bunch of people in a scene, it gets cumbersome and clumsy, right? So like the best interactions are when there's like, maximum like 5 people in a scene. So whenever it gets over that, it's kind of, there's a lot going on.
Kenan, we kind of cut to, hey, the party's is going off, and it's going pretty well. Kenan kind of strolls around it and like interacts with a bunch of people. He says something very inappropriate. What's up?
We have to talk about Kenan's outfit.
Oh, please.
Kenan is wearing a black jacket that definitely looks like a raincoat, but more so just looks like rubber. Like the kind of jacket yes. where if your arm hits like the side, like it's like there's so much friction that you just couldn't move it and it squeaks. Yeah, it looks like a raincoat, and then he has like a fedora on, kind of like the one Kel was wearing in the intro. But he looks ridiculous.
Yes, you can just pick anyone out of this crowd and say like, what is this?
Maybe I'm being critical because it's 2020 and we're looking back in time here. It's like a time machine. But
Speaking of which, the first thing Kenan says to a girl wouldn't hold up in a script today. He says to her,
How you doing? You need anything? You need any help? I'm gonna help you out later on tonight. All right.
just, vague. He probably meant like, hey, we'll dance together and
Yeah, but
it's
like it doesn't feel that like appropriate.
No. I counted 25 attendants. A couple more come in the door a little later.
Okay.
That was heads throughout this space, and I didn't assume too many more showed up later. So 25 is kind of my number I stuck to.
That works for me. It seems about right.
Yep. The party's going. Leanne comes in, and Kenan tells Kyra to go in the back. Kel makes Kyra a very important promise that he'll dance with her. But once Leanne shows up, she kind of has all of Kel's attention. So Kyra gets very jealous and starts sabotaging their encounter.
Yes. So one thing Kyra does is she says, "You call that dancing, or are your panties too tight?" It's like, okay, Kyra.
Yeah. And then her move is to put a whole pizza underneath Leanne as she goes to sit down. Yeah.
Very, an interesting approach for Kyra. She is very clearly jealous.
So I couldn't help but compare her to a later Dan Schneider little sister, Megan from Drake and Josh.
You're right.
Who does Kyra never is as developed as Megan. Her pranks aren't that great, and her Megan's evil and has a bunch of great schemes.
Right, diabolical.
She always holds the power of it, and Kyra's kind of a nuisance in this.
Yeah.
Leanne goes she makes a beeline for the bathroom. The one bathroom in this whole building, apparently. I don't know how.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know where all the party goers are going. Leanne goes to this one bathroom to clean up, and Kyra pursues her, blocks the door with a chair. And
putting the chair under the doorknob to lock somebody in. Mm-hmm. Only this is a rolling, it's like a desk chair. And it's not even locked in under the doorknob. It's it's pretty lazy development here. But anyways.
And she says ha ha, but that's it for both of them. That's where that story ends this episode. There's
it was a bad subplot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, as soon as the bomb went off, everything's just kind of it lost a lot of the good elements for us.
Lost some steam. Yeah. Okay, let's just keep going. One thing we did miss in that last scene, Kenan's walking around and people start to take stuff off of the shelves and eat it. And so, Kenan's like, oh, he says, yo, you have to pay for that. And then he says, oh, don't eat canned corn. And then he says, give me that salami. This guy has a whole salami he's just biting into.
Yep.
So
and later on, it's a blink and you miss it, but someone has just a whole sandwich made.
Oh yeah. It's the DJ.
Yep, the DJ's got it.
Or it's the guy standing behind the counter. But anyways, okay, so let's.
Yeah, that's my grocery list that I've written.
Oh, it seems like all the bottles of orange soda and the snacks could be added to that too.
Yes, I did not see any snacks. But
I saw a bowl of cheese curls and then a bowl of chips.
Yes, and then you're starting to say, all right, how much of this did they actually buy for the party? We established they're already in the red for the party, so it's
definitely
the equivalent of stealing it. I don't think Kenan and Kel said, hey, let's throw a party here behind Chris's back, and then said, oh, but we're going to buy the food. Right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyway, so the music stops because there's like the chords are broken, or there's a sandwich near the chords. It's kind of confusing. But then Kenan says, "Hey, we have something special planned for you. Kel, get up here." Kel's, of course, hesitant. And then Kel begins what is a very cheerful moment. And so I think this is something that we could throw into the podcast.
Don't care. How many of y'all like orange soda? Everybody say orange. Orange. Say orange. Orange. Say soda. Soda. Say soda. Soda. Now scream! Oh yeah. Let me tell you a little something about an orange drink. It's cold carbonated and it sure ain't pink. So forget about your coffee and your sausage link. Cause orange soda's in time and it's time to drink orange soda. Oh yeah. And now wave your cans in the air. I said wave your cans in the air. And wave them like you just don't care. And if you like living in Chicago, let me hear you say, ooh yeah. Ooh yeah.
Just legendary moment here.
It's adds to the 90s-ness of this episode, for sure. I really like wave your cans in the air.
Yeah, put your cans in the air, wave them like you just don't care.
And everyone instantly has orange soda cans.
A can, not a bottle, like they've been serving the rest of the night.
They have the red Solo cup, 2-liter orange soda bottle system. That's in the background. Leanne gets some for her and Kel earlier, but no, everyone has cans.
Yep. And then Chris shows up to the chagrin of Kenan and Kel, and he says, "Why are people waving orange soda cans in the air like they just don't care?"
Yeah, I counted about 23 cans. A guy with like pins in his face confronts Chris.
Yeah, like the metalhead, just randomly a weird character throughout the episode. He bumps into Kenan earlier, and then he causes this kind of trouble with Chris.
But that's not all the trouble that Chris gets into. The fire marshal shows up.
Yes,
flanked by 2 men in full fireman gear.
Because that is how the fire departments work in Chicago.
Yes, the fire marshal comes in with his hat, and yeah, everyone's just suited up, ready to go.
And he subsequently shuts down the bomb because the building can only occupy 15 people, and there are definitely more than 15 people. But my question here is, what kind of corner store can only have 15 people in it? What if you get a rush?
Sure, I'm going to pay close attention to to future episodes, because as we learn from the fire marshal, there's a $300 fine.
Yes, which is quite
having more than 50
steep.
people.
Quite steep.
Yeah, it's not pocket change for a grocery store. You saw cucumbers like 89 cents.
It's not even a grocery store. It's just a corner store. It's like a market.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna pay attention to this and how often, because every time Kenan and Kel bring 300 people into this place, that's another $300
or 30 people. Yeah.
More than 15, 16 total.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
It also wasn't astronomically higher. I get it. He should have shut them down, but it's like I said, it's 25 people.
I know. And then this is my thing. If the fire marshal would show up to a party, or if even Chris would show up to the party, maybe not Chris, but fire marshal definitely, like people would start to leave. Like, have you ever been to a party before or a club? I mean, it's like people don't just stick around when like cops show up. People start to ditch.
Yeah.
But anyways, the scene
ditch.
They do.
Right?
They do. The scene ends. Chris is shooing everybody away. And then Chris says this awful line as it's cutting away. He says, "This is a grocery store, not the Cirque du Soleil." And that left a sour taste in my mouth, let's just say.
That was it. That was the big end of the episode moment. Kenan and Kel even rush out with the rest of the crowd. Like, they don't directly pay for the consequences.
Nothing. Yeah, there's no denouement here. It's just rising action and then a climax, and that's it.
Yeah, if I were to punch it up, I'd do something like the Leanne like breaks out of like the back room or something while the fire marshal's there, and they're like, "What's the like? This is even worse than we thought." And Kenan's and parents show up like with a burnt turkey, and they're all mad.
That would have tied it up nicely. But yeah, this is just it's like wrapping a gift in a bag instead of like wrapping it in wrapping paper. That's what it feels like. It's just like, okay, nice job, but not like you didn't try as hard as you could have. It's not wrapped up nicely. Yeah, but
and nothing too interesting happens afterwards. We get back to in front of the curtains, and Kenan, similar to what just happened in the club, gets the whole audience to leave with him.
Yeah, because for some reason they would trust Kenan after that episode happened, because he's very trustworthy, and you want to follow him whenever he has an idea.
Yeah, but he does state that they have to pay the $300 fine.
Well, good.
Yes, they should have to. So that goes against their Skunkator total that is slowly getting dwindled down. Not fast enough, by my opinion, but
yeah, that's like the unspoken about, right? So it's like maybe Kyra was 6 years old in the pilot. Skunkator, Chris lost how many episodes?
Yeah, there's some inflation to that value.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but anyways, we're getting
they cost them a good close to. There's like $500 in the red this episode, I think, between everything.
I think so. That's about right.
But yes, okay. So that's the episode. So I mentioned Drake and Josh earlier. Is there a Drake and Josh episode that this reminds you of?
As soon as you say it, I'm sure I'll know.
The Drake and Josh Inn.
Ah.
So while their parents are out of town, they basically turn their house into a B&B for some spring breakers, and the party gets out of control.
Yes, it's very much like cut and paste, just like fill in the names, fill in the location. Yeah,
I thought that episode had a better escalation, as in the party gets out of control, and they're trying to get people to leave. They have to enlist Megan's help, and their parents see it on TV and rush home. And,
right. Yeah, I think, this is kind of like an interesting comparison, right? Because Drake and Josh come around at a time where, this plot, the plot scheme is pretty well developed. And every episode of Drake and Josh has a pretty much good storyline. It's like wrapped up nicely, but Kenan and Kel...
Situation comedy.
Yeah, Kenan and Kel is still... it's like some episodes are nice, some episodes aren't that nice. It feels
like very
a
raw and experimental.
It's raw. It's like a beginner show. It's like one of the first spin-offs of all that.
You can see Dan Schneider really hones his craft by the time Drake and Josh comes around.
Yeah, that's just an excellent show. But all right, let's break down this episode then.
Yes. Like I said, I listed a couple recurring things. We know about Chris's mom has removable teeth. It's our first wife from Kel, and I haven't crunched the numbers fully, but yeah, like I'm saying, they're about $500 in the red this episode.
I like that number, 500. Yeah.
Okay. So for ratings, closing up here on IMDb, Da Bomb is ranked 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's number 32, so right around the middle points when it comes to episode rankings. Low medium is where I put it, which is I think that's honestly, when it comes to the episodes, this is pretty low on my list. It's not one I revisit often, and that ending is a little sour in my mouth. Out of 10 bottles of orange soda. Oh, I'm sorry. What are your final thoughts?
I like the introduction of a lot of quick, witty humor. I think those one-liners, even those singles and doubles that we're talking about, I think that those are adding to Kenan and Kel's MO, right? This is how the show is gonna go on. It's gonna be fun and quick, and you're gonna want to keep up with it. So I think this episode did a good job, better than the other ones of introducing that stuff. The ending wasn't that good. There was a lot of moving pieces to it. It seems like almost maybe like if you're listening to this podcast, maybe this podcast episode did the same thing. It took a little while to get going, and then we ran into some bumps along the way, and hopefully it's ending up nicely, but who knows? So I mean, I would give it 7 bottles of orange soda. I thought it was still enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I would be remiss to rank it, higher than mental telepathy. But I feel this one's a 4. Just 4 out of bottles of orange soda.
Wow.
Like the number that was on the counter during the bomb. So my a whole 2-liter drank by Kel, and he gave 2 away to Leanne. So also they cost Rigby's a basket, a can of cream corn, a salami, a pizza, a whole sandwich, and about 27 cans of orange soda for my count. So it adds up. They did their damage.
It adds up.
I doubt I'm gonna rank any episode much lower than this.
Wow.
That's like my bottom metric. I truly think that this is, and coming up on our next episode, it's one of my favorites, maybe of the whole show, if not this first season. Do you know the name?
Mo Sweater Blues.
Yep. The famous sweater episode.
Oh, I am excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into it. I think that's going to be very high ranking. So, all right, thank you for joining us for another episode of Kenan Kel with Adam and Aaron. I hope you had a bomb.
Or something like that, at least.
Yeah, and you didn't get shut down by the fire marshal.
Social distancing, people.
Yeah, don't. I do not recommend parties like that anytime in the near future.
No, definitely not.
But okay, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Aw, here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Kel Podcast.